70 hours after yet-to-be-identified gunmen attacked a correctional centre and the headquarters of the Imo Police Command, another police station was attacked in the state on Thursday. The Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodimma, asked police officers in the state to use their rifles to defend themselves against criminals, describing the mayhem as an attack on the integrity of the government. Joining us now to speak on the attacks and more is former Commissioner of Police for the Federal Capital Territory, Lawrence Alobi. Lawrence, thank you very much for joining us, and good morning to you there. It is definitely a scary state of affairs when we know that perhaps dangerous criminals have access to arms, and therefore there is heightened risk that they could turn those arms onto the people or definitely the police themselves. How did we get to a situation like this, first and foremost?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. First and foremost, this problem is systemic. The society, a lot of things that are exacerbating insecurity. One and foremost is that we are so disunited. Disunity exacerbate crisis, injustice, nepotism, corruption. You know, these are things, for instance, in this country, we don't have empathy for one another. Where we're concerned, how do I get it? It's my turn or my turn for me and my people and so forth, to the exclusion of others. So, and again, but most importantly is the fact that the government, the people of Nigeria have not actually given the police what they deserve to protect the country. The Nigerian Police Force is the principal agency in terms of internal security. The taproot, and if the taproot of a tree is weakened, other supportive roots, of course, cannot sustain the tree. So the Nigerian Police Force, which is supposed to be the principal agency in terms of internal security, have been so robbed of so many things, denied of so many things in terms of equipment, in terms of training, in terms of funding, in terms of capacity building, in terms of morale. Every time, the NSAS, not too long, the NSAS, we had the NSAS, now and again it's attack on police stations. What is the problem, for instance? It makes police officers and men to feel, oh, why must we sacrifice our life, man? Why must we come on the line of to give our life for when people who don't appreciate us, who don't encourage us, who don't support us? So there are so many factors, both societal problems, the systemic, and also even from the police itself. The police itself also have what they call contributing factor that contribute to this inadequacy, these lapses, and the fabric of society. Our moral values have been so bastardized. We don't have respect for the rule of law. We don't have respect for one another. We don't have the fear of shame and the fear of God. We don't believe that service we are there to serve and we need to contribute. We always believe in this, how to grab, how to get. We make ourselves very parasitic and dependency in nature. Most Nigerians think about, most Nigerians don't also believe that life is all about what I get, what my right. Nobody thinks about what can I contribute, what can I do to add value, what can I do to contribute to the well-betterment of my community, of my society, of my country. And even Section 14B provides that prime purpose of government is the security and well-being of the citizens. But our leaders are so, they don't have empathy on the people they rule. They don't have compassion. All their concern is how to grab power and dominate. Leadership is all about who dominates. Leadership is all about service. Leadership is empowerment. But rather our leaders rather end up making us impoverishing the Nigerian people. Look at our society. Poverty is everywhere. Everywhere. We want to be one of the poorest country in the world. How can that be with all the resources God has endowed us? But we misuse it because we don't have empathy. We don't have the fear of God. We think that money and power is all true in a man's life. It's not. So there are so many factors, both systematic, societal factors, institutional factors, and even the government itself too has not done well for the Nigerian police force. So a lot of factors. We need to look at this thing holistically. Bad governance. Bad leadership, no empathy, like I said, and that is not good enough. Governance is all about the people oriented. Democracy is all about the people. Like Abraham Lincoln would say, government the people for the people. But government are the people really in charge of the government, are the people benefiting. What dividends of democracy the people are reaping from this democracy. So we need to look at things holistically and not issue of the blame game. We need to look at ourselves. What have we done? Everyone should reflect and ask, am I contributing to the well-being of my country?
Indeed.
Am I contributing to the well-being of my community? Am I really putting in my best effort to achieve the best result of my country? These are things we should all reflect and ask ourselves. So I think the factors are really is inexplicable, but I think we'll get there if we are sincere to ourselves. And like I said, unity is key and central. We are so fragmented.
Indeed, don't ask what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Mr. Alobi, the former head of state, Abubakar Abdul Salami, recently revealed the proliferation of about 6 million small arms and light weapons in the country. This is a staggering figure, 6 million small arms and ammunition. Are we in a war situation in the country?
We're in a war situation because every day people are being killed. Even during the civil war between Biafra and Nigerian war, people are not being killed like this. It's on a daily basis, as if the life doesn't matter any longer in this country. And it's not good enough when we are so insensitive, we don't say nothing is happening. Every time it's blame game. Blame Mr. B or blame Mr. A and so forth. Rather than we're reflecting and look at what are the causal factors. There must be a cause to a problem. And when you identify the cause and sincerely come out with the strategies on how to solve the problem, you see, you address the problem-solving approach to issues, not blame game. You say, like you quoted John Kennedy's statement that you should think of what the country do for you, not what your country do for you. What you can do for your country, not what you do for what your country will do for you. If we all think what you can contribute. Like what my head of state said, Abdul Salam said, it's very correct. I used to be the chairman of NATCOM, Committee on Small Arms and Proliferation in the country, the ECOWAS moratorium. I was the chairman for 5 years when I was CP for operations. You see, the illegal arms in the country are so scary and frightening. And we need to also come out with a strategy. When I was CP Federal Operations, I wrote a memo to my IG, Mr. Balogunde, and we adopted to Mr. President, which I approved. We fed up task force in all police commands to mop out illegal arms from the hands of people who are having arms illegally. Carry out raids, carry out searches and so forth, organized searches. And they recover these things because when they are free to carry these arms, allow this whether headsmen, banditry, whatever these known actors, not supposed to carry these arms, and these arms are the ones that embody them to attack with impunity. So I think we should be sincere and we should analyze our situation and see how we can come out with solutions. And that is when we all come together. We have unity in action. Everybody at all levels. We should be concerned about we have no other country. And we should not play to the gallery, And when we allow emotion to becloud our sense of reason and sense of judgment, we lose it. We lose the track. So I think, as small arms is a threat. It's a serious threat. Look at our borders are very porous, and the arms are coming in, and we can also detect. But what stops the government? Today, policing and law enforcement or security generally, it is technologically driven. To what extent are we employing technology in security and policing and law enforcement in this country? Why not? The police are helpless. Sometimes it is said that the militant or group or criminals have more firepower. Why should it be so? The government is the one that's supposed to be given by law to have the power to ensure that everybody succumb to the rule of law and will be to control all elements of insecurity or threat. But that it's not happening. I say it's a very scary situation in this country. And we should not be concerned. It should be not issue of politics. Politicians keep on blaming each other or so. It's not supposed to so. It's our country. It's our country. APC will come and go, PDP will come and go, but the problem is still our problem.
Absolutely. Earlier on in your conversation, you talked about the need to exercise perhaps holistic options. So when we're talking about the proliferation of arms and illegal arsenals being an issue across the country, what type of solutions do you think there could be? If I were to offer one for the purpose of this conversation, say that perhaps there should be an amnesty where people can hand over their guns to the authorities without any fear of retribution or prosecution. Do you think that would be a likely outcome? Or rather, you can offer your own ideas when you think of holistic solutions to these types of issues?
Yeah, you see, when I used to be in charge of federal operations as commissioner of police, I was a member of that issue of amnesty in the Niger Delta. The governor of then governor of Rivers State, Dr. Peter Odili, was the chairman of that committee, and we go there and take an order to come and bring. But in most cases, those people are not sincere to government. When they will bring arms that are not even useful, old arms. And when you give them money, they go and buy more arms. That's the point. That is the intelligence we got. So I think we should deal squarely with criminals. I don't believe in romancing with criminals. For me, when I was in CPF City, I tell them, get them dead or alive. I don't romance with criminals. A criminal is a criminal. Because if you have a point, he will leave it, he will even attack you. So with the laws laws are meant to be enforced. A law that is not enforced, the judicial value of law is predicated on its enforcement. Look at even, like I always like to quote the Bible. When God gave Adam and Eve a law, do not eat this fruit. And when they disobeyed, God sanctioned them. That is justice. Just giving what you deserve. We should give them what they deserve, not begin to pamper them. So I don't believe in a romancing with criminals. I don't ever do it. I don't play to the gallery. I don't believe in, for me, no sentiment, no emotions. Criminals should be dealt with according to the law. Law is what guides our actions. Justice, and when justice is justice, and justice should be done without fear or favor. Whether you bring out a primordial or whatever excuses and so forth. That is done. We have a just society where there will be peace and security be granted. So I don't believe in the issue of granting people amnesty. Like I said, when I was in this CP federal operations, I don't remember to my IG, then Mr. Balogun then, and I said, we need to mop out illegal arms in the hands of those who have illegal arms. And they already remember to the Mr. President, and it was approved. And they provided forms, intervention forms. We set up a committee task force in all police commands to mop out arms. And those arms at the end, they'll bring them here. There's a national committee destruction was being organized in Abuja. That was done. But now such things are not being done again. Mop out, you don't really carry the battle to these people. Take the war to them. You don't wait for them to say until when they report cases, then you start looking. Carry the war to them. Suppress element is a very critical in security operations. You have to take the word to them. What to carry the word to them that the government of these people, Nigerians, say no to illegal possession of arms. Even politicians end up buying arms for their talks during elections and use them after the elections. They cannot disarm them. They started using for criminal activity like kidnapping, cultism, and so forth. These are not acceptable at all in a law society where law and order should prevail. So I think we should try to be sincere to ourselves. Our government should be sincere, and Nigerians should be sincere. Nigerians should stand up to support the Nigerian police force. Make a police force that will stand and give them what they deserve, give them the best they deserve, which is granting security, public peace and public security for the good of all Nigerians.
And we are witnessing the rise of insurgency in many parts of the country, the southeast, the southwest, south-south, northeast, as well as the northwest. The thing is, are they a prelude of something bigger than we don't know about? You'll be able to answer this question after this short break. Just stay with us. Glad to have you back. You're watching The Morning Show, and we still have with us Lawrence Alobi, the former Commissioner of Police for the FCT. Good to have you. Stay with us. Just before the break, I was asking you, will you say the rise in insecurity across the country is a prelude to something bigger that we know nothing about?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like I said earlier, the factors are systemic, institutional, and also the people themselves also contribute. Nigerians also have contributed to what is happening today. Because sometimes we are passive. We don't take things seriously. We look at things we politicize issues and look at it from that ethnic or religious point of view, not knowing that problem anybody can be a victim. That problem, when you come, you do not say you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are this party or another party. You see, like I said, it is holistic. One and foremost is that when it started earlier, when there's injustice breeds conflict, and when there's injustice, there's no trust deficit amongst Nigeria. We don't trust each other. They don't even trust the government. So these are the problem. When there's no trust, it breeds suspicion, and when there's suspicion, and when somebody, for instance, if a child is crying, You said you tell the child you don't find out why the child is crying. That they keep on smashing the child, tell the child you're a bad child, you're a bad child. You provoke anger, more anger. When people agitate, oh, this is happening to us, when this is not done to us, we don't have inclusiveness in this government, we don't have this, or we're not being taken care of, or this, and so forth, we should listen. A government should have a listening ear. Leaders should have listening ear. And find out what is the problem. How can we address the problem? Through consultation. But not just scaring away people or being insensitive or not listening. So when it starts at the very start initially, and we ignore it, we don't take action, it snowballs to a magnitude that we cannot contain. That's what is happening today. Like when the police were talking about police underfunding, on their equipment, on their lack of training, lack of model and so forth, the government gave a deaf ears to it. Nigerians didn't care about it. Until when the NSAS came, the NSAS, whatever they're demanding is that the police reform. And the government have been having reforms, panels of reform, committees of reform for years, but have that been implemented? Everything, any report ends in the shelf. And that's the act of sincerity. How do we implement policy and program? We have committees, we have seminars, we have workshops and conferences. At the end, what happens? When they come out with a communique, what happens to those communiques and those recommendations? We should be sincere. The point is that we don't address issues sincerely when they arise. And when we lie, sometimes when we lie, we are so complacent, we are indifferent, and it will not snowball, it will spread. When this A is agitating, that is being marginalized, it's not being listened to, we don't care. So what are they talking rubbish? How can somebody talking rubbish? Somebody telling how he feels. We should have a listening ear to about the feeling of people. We should have empathy. How does that person feel? That they go to do unto that which does do unto you. But we're so insensitive. So this is how it has snowballed to this, and now we are almost overwhelmed. We're almost overwhelmed. In fact, it is very scary. That, I don't know, we pray that God will intervene, but then for God to intervene, it depends on our sincerity and our actions. Because they said, heaven help those who help themselves. So we need to help ourselves by being sincere. But come out, let us dialogue. What is our problem? What are the causes of this problem? How do we solve the problem? Not blame game. And we should listen to complaints. Not pretend, not believe that it doesn't exist, you're talking rubbish. No. Please, Nigerians, we should listen to one another. Listen to one another, be able to address the problem, come out with problem-solving approach to issues, not blame game, not confrontation. Force is not a solution to crisis management. Persuasion, sometimes people understand why this should be happening. In fact, that's a policy I applied in crisis management, in dispersing of managing of civil protests and demonstrations. In fact, that's what somebody calls me community uniform.
Mr. Alobi, I'm so happy you mentioned crisis management, because as we know, there's been a new Inspector General of Police who's just been sworn in, and as it stands there's a whole lot of work that he has to do. So with your experience as a former Commissioner of Police, what do you think his first task is going to have to be to ensure that his tenure will be successful?
Yeah, first of all, let me make an observation. In our law, the issue of acting IG is not known to Nigerian law. Both the Police Act and Nigerian Constitution. The Nigerian Constitution and the Police Act provides that Mr. President will appoint a General Police under the Police Council, not on acting capacity. So the issue of acting is unknown to our law. The same thing applicable to the Armed Forces Act. Armed Forces Act provides for the appointment of service chief. But that's why no service chief is ever appointed on acting capacity. You are appointed as a chief of army staff, chief of air staff, chief of defense staff, or chief of naval staff. You're not acting capacity. So I don't know how they should be acting for general police, because the law does not recognize that. It's not known to our law. So I think I want to make this observation before I respond to your question. Yeah, on the issue of crisis management, my happiness is that the Inspector General of Police is conscious of the enormity of the problem he's going to face, and also conscious of the expectations of the government and people of Nigeria that like Mr. Vice President did advise him, that issue of confidence building, restoring the lost glory of Nigerian police for the image, because all the people are so alienated from the police, and that is predicated on the historical misconception and historical perception of the citizens seeing the police as enemy of the people, and the police are there for regime protection. And that, when the colonial masters established the Nigerian police force, ab initio, it was established purely for the interest of the protect British interest and colonial interest. And now the colonial masters were using the police just to protect their interests. And the people now saw the police as enemy of the people. And that mentality, that conception, that perception has snowballed even from the military regime to the democratic dispensation. So we need for the people to understand that, and Nigerian police should understand, people should understand that life is based on principle of reciprocity. The Nigerian police need the people to succeed, and the people need the police to be able to have peace and security as a primary agency in charge of internal security. But then, what have we failed? The police themselves also there's a lot of contributing factors. How are they handling situations? How are they building capacity of their men? Are they training their men? Are they concerned about the welfare of their men? Are they motivating their men? You see, leadership determines followership. How leadership concerned about the welfare of their men? Some leaders go there, they're concerned about rank protection, my tenure protection. They're not concerned about the institutional needs of the force. What does the force need? Like, I'm happy the new IG said that he'll be concerned with the primacy of the police as internal security, the private agency in terms of internal security. The police, the primary agency in terms of internal security. But now you find that other institutions have it's as if it's competition. It's not competition. It's collaborative and cooperation. With like fingers of one hand. But somebody must be in charge. And I want to advise the IG. The new IG, you should come out. The Nigerian police has not come out with a national policing strategy in this country. I will advise me to come out with a national policing strategy that will enable, that will guide the police, guide other security agencies, guide non-state actors to know the scope of their involvement and how they can be involved, how they can collaborate and so forth. When this is defined, now we have a direction. So the police should give a direction to other security agencies on policing and law enforcement of this country. Because that lacuna, that void is creating a problem. It's like all common affair. You just do what you can do, just come and so forth. For instance, today, let me give you an example. When I was CP follow operation during Chogom, the conference of the Commonwealth of Nations Head of State, the military brought captains to be ADCs. I complained to the Chief of Staff to Mr. President General Mohammed and the General Guzo was NSA. I said, ADC work is a work of the police, not military function, the police function. And the two of them saw with me and said, Lawrence, you are right. All the captains were withdrawn, and I brought a police officer who by trained to become ADC. Even when Clinton came and Bush came, they were civilian, but now it is now based on the military men, and now they become ADCs. It's not supposed to be so because we don't have a national policing strategy in this country. So nobody just become all common affair. Then you do what you like. It's not so. The thing will definitely be disorganized. We need to be systematic. We need to be purposeful. We need to have a direction on how to go about it. So these are some of the lapses and things which the IG should listen. And I hope he listens, because some of them don't have listened. When they get there, they play God. They don't listen. They feel, oh, your time has passed. But you see, you cannot buy experience.
And on that note, that's where we're going to have to wrap it now. Systemic national police strategy is what you advocate. Lawrence Alobi, former Commissioner of Police, FCT, thank you for speaking with us on The Morning Show.